Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Moe, and we're here today with a very special occasion. We got our hands on the Rainbow Six Siege closed alpha over on the PC. It's a special occasion because there hasn't been a Rainbow Six game released since 2008 with Rainbow Six Vegas 2. I haven't actively played a Rainbow Six game probably since 2010. Rainbow has gone away for a very long time. To fill that void, we've had the greatness of Splinter Cell. I have to say, I've been very, very happy with the past Splinter Cell releases, but it's awesome to finally get our hands on a Rainbow Six game once again, to know that Rainbow Six is the thing that exists, that's probably going to release sometime this year or early next year. That's awesome. That makes me very happy, and I'm even happier that I got my hands on the closed alpha on PC. So that's what we're going to talk about today. There's a lot I want to say, and I've spent the last couple hours trying to make this video happen because there's so much to talk about. But I'm just going to try and keep this as casually constructive as I can and try and keep my cool, not fanboy too much, and actually talk about some of the negatives that I've had with the alpha, but also talk about a lot of the mechanics and a lot of the things that have made my time with it really great. It's really been a sort of starting off with the whole alpha, not understanding what the hell was going on, and the more I've played the game, the more I've understood the mechanics, the more I've wanted to play it, the more I've just wanted to keep on playing it. It's definitely addictive, and I think that's sort of waived some of my concerns about whether or not the game's multiplayer would become repetitive, but that's still to be seen, because I've only played like 3 hours of it. Who knows how it'll fare when you've played, the same 6 maps for like 12 hours each. Who knows? But I have to say there is a level of tactical randomness that really does keep you on your toes, and it keeps things feeling fresh every time you go in round after round. Now, speaking of that, one of the biggest things with Siege is learning the map, gathering the info you need to be an effective teammate. Hell, just to be effective at all. Situational awareness is like at an all-time high in this game. I don't think there's really an experience like Siege that requires this much situational awareness. The closest thing I would have to say is like playing the AI in Arma. And that's really not on the same level. But when you talk about a close quarters CQB based experience like Siege, nothing really kind of levels up to this. And a lot of that comes down to the procedural destruction that has been implemented in the game. Basically the idea that you can pretty much destroy with bullets or with explosives just about anything that looks like it can be destroyed. That's been the motto the devs have had when talking about the game in their alpha streams, and I have to say that pretty much carries through. There are very small bits and pieces that cannot be destroyed purely for design purposes, and I think so far what I've played, specifically of the house map that you're seeing here, those decisions have been very well made. Who knows, they'll probably change. Feedback from the players in the alpha could definitely alter that as well as the beta. But right now they've limited very small areas of the house map as well as the airplane map, the other map that is available in the alpha, and made them impenetrable, indestructible, unbreachable, mostly again for design purposes, and I think that was a smart decision. On the other hand though, like 80% of the house, the other 80% is pretty much, free game. Blow it up, put holes in it, toss grenades on the floor and watch the floorboards pop up to the ceiling. Really do whatever you want to make your own doorways, to make your own flanks. And that is definitely a big part of Siege. And it has more impact than you would think. When I saw the streams and when I saw the footage of the game, I wasn't really like, how special is that going to make this game? And, how quickly is that whole sort of glowy awesomeness of blowing everything to pieces going to hang around? And the fact is, the 3 hours I played of the game, it was always awesome. It never got old. Blowing a hole in the floor to kill 3 dudes and capture the hostage, that does not get old quick. At the same point, rappelling up the side of a building and then kicking in the boards that were blocking a window to breach it and kill the person inside, that also doesn't get old. What Siege lets you do as a Rainbow Six fan is all of those awesome moments that Vegas created in the single player, breaching with your AI teammates and, hanging upside down and shooting through windows. All of that happens in the multiplayer a lot. And I think that is really freaking cool. It's definitely a Rainbow game, let's put it that way. It feels very much like a Rainbow Six game. Not just because of those moments, but also the way the weapons handle, the way your character moves. It feels smoother than it ever has before. It's, Vegas always had that sort of chugginess that I really hated, and a lot of that had to do with the terrible third-person cover system. I mean, it worked in theory, but when you actually went to peek out from behind a corner or around a wall, it just meant exposing your character for like 3 to 4 seconds unnecessarily, while not actually putting any rounds down range. That system is gone. They've done away with the third-person cover system, at least here in the multiplayer. Let's hope that's the same for whatever co-op or single player they decide to release. And they've went with a very basic leaning mechanic. Now, I would like to see a different leaning mechanic implemented. They've went with the very classic Q&E. Lean to the left, lean to the right, that's it. I'd like to see the system that Battlefield employs put into Siege. The system basically allowing you to hit iron sights and then have your character automatically lean around a corner or even look up over a ledge, you know, something that you're crouched behind. I think that system is very intuitive, and I think it would work very well in the 99.9 CQB situations that you're going to be engaging in while playing Siege. It's almost all close quarters combat. No real need for a sniper rifle, at least not on any of the maps that are available into the alpha. So I'd really like to see, that lean mechanic be implemented. I'm going to go talk about it on the forums. I know they have their alpha forums. I'm definitely going to go speak out about that there and see what other people think, because there's nothing wrong with the classic Q&E, but I just feel a more intuitive system like that auto lean would just fit in the game a lot better. So that's kind of the core of the game. You know, the shooting and the navigating, it all feels really great. I think the guns, as they are right now, they're not all perfect, but I liked just about every single rifle, shotgun, and submachine gun that I picked up. They sound great, they feel great to shoot, and the weapon models are amazing. Even with the game running at, you know, such a limited graphical resolution, everything's locked out. You can only really change your overall resolution and your refresh rate. You can't modify things like, you know, anti-aliasing or the texture quality. Everything has been limited for the purpose of the alpha. It still all looks great though. I think that the guns and the gear, which are probably the two most important things in a Rainbow Six game, look fantastic. I love the character models. I love the detail on the firearms. It all just looks really awesome. Speaking of the character models, I think that's something that we should definitely point out in this. I don't want to spend too much time actually talking about, you know, just the way the game plays and how you do things, because I think a lot of people understand that from seeing the tons and tons of trailers and streams that have already been released by Ubisoft. But I did want to talk about the way that they're doing character classes. They're not having custom character classes like Vegas did. They're going with more of a hero system, as I'd like to call it. The idea being that each team, attacker and defender, has 5 different characters. Now, I think they're planning on releasing more by the time the game goes into full release, but right now that's what we had available. Once one of those hero characters is selected, they're locked in by the person who selected them, so it's first come, first serve. Hopefully you're playing with a group of friends and that's not really an issue. But each of these characters not only has their own loadout, they have their own personality. They're from their own special forces unit. They might be from SAS, they might be from SWAT. They have their own name, their own actual visual representation, they wear their own gear, and I love that. I actually found myself becoming very attached to one character in specific, and that was Thatcher. Thatcher is one of the assault characters. I believe he is an SAS, and there's something about him. He has the gas mask, he just looks like he's ready to do business, and I loved his loadout. I was a big fan of the EMP style stuff in the game, the ability to throw EMP grenades and deploy jammers, frequency jammers, to disable electronics in the area. Of course, that is the other really important aspect of this sort of hero classes. They all have their own pieces of equipment. And like I said, the fact that you're not allowed to have any more than one of each of those heroes in any given team means that you are forced to diversify. You're forced to understand the strengths and weaknesses of your teammates, come together to be successful. Now, sadly, in my time with the alpha, teamwork wasn't really a thing. I'm playing with randoms. There is no party system available in the alpha. Was really genuinely upset and kind of pissed off about that. I understand it's alpha, but you keep on stressing the fact that this is a team-based game in every single one of the instances where you showcase the game, and then you don't let us play with an actual group of friends, an actual proper team. I can understand maybe trying to force people to work as a team. It's just not going to happen. I've very recently just, you know, kind of been in the mood for people who complain about teamwork with this one single response: find a group of people to play with. There are gaming communities everywhere, awesome communities full of people looking to play games in actual teams, groups of friends on TeamSpeak, chatting, talking it up, building relationships out of game and in game to make sure that the experience is always great every time you go in. Find those communities and join them, because playing with randoms always sucks. And that was pretty much my experience with Rainbow. The one thing that was nice is, as the day went on and, 3-4 hours into playing the alpha, more people started to understand the game, and there was kind of just a natural teamwork thing going on. It still was nowhere near the level that I can see it being when you actually have two teams going at it. I mean, I've seen it happen in the streams that Ubisoft does. They have two sets of developers actually communicating, and the games are intense. Very few matches turned out like that for me. It was kind of one-sided, or the tension was purely based on the fact that I was the last remaining member of my team, and everybody was looking to me to sort of clutch the match. So I'm looking forward to actually having the opportunity to play it with a group of people. Who knows if that'll happen during the course of the alpha? It's only about a week long, and like I said, right now there is no ability to matchmake as a party. I would love to see them implement that before the alpha is over. If not, I guess we'll have to wait till the beta. But that was really my one only big complaint, the fact that I could not play with a group of friends, and it definitely affected my experience with the game. Early on, when playing the alpha, it was a nightmare. Not only did I have no idea what the hell I was doing, I didn't know the maps, I didn't know the character classes. I was playing with a group of people who were just as lost as I was, and half of them were way too busy not realizing they were hot miking the microphone that they probably didn't even realize they owned into everyone's eardrums. It's a bit of a nightmare. But as time went on, like I said, that kind of faded. There is a way to lower the microphone volume, which means that you miss out on the potential to communicate with anyone who is willing to communicate, but you also save your ears a lot of stress. So that was kind of the decision that I had to make. And none of the matches that I played in that you're seeing today on the house level had any sort of teamwork going on. It was just natural teamwork between all of the members, and hey, it kind of worked out. I had a lot of fun playing it, and house easily became my favorite map of the two. You're going to see a small bit of the plane map towards the end. I think we'll talk about that map at another day during the week. We're definitely going to be doing some more Siege coverage throughout the week. But the thing about the house map is it's easy to learn. The plane map is a very complex commercial jetliner. It has a lot of layers, I think 3 floors in total, a lot of back doors, a lot of entrances, a lot of materials that you need to understand whether or not they can be shot or blown up. It was a bit frustrating, that map. You need to learn it. And that's really a big part of Siege. A part of the Siege experience is gaining that tactical information to then be successful. The house map, pretty easy. It's a house. I think everyone knows how a house is generally laid out, and just a couple rounds on it, it was very easy for everyone, I think, to understand where everything was, where the back doors were, what could be blown up and what couldn't. And it just meant that the matches I had on house were much more enjoyable than the ones that I had on the plane map. That's just kind of how it went. Now that kind of led me to a very positive thought. Initially, when they announced Siege, I was very concerned about the actual maps. I thought maybe some sort of procedural generation system would be more effective in creating random layouts of the different locations every time you boot it up. But the amount of time that it's taking to learn these maps kind of changed my mind on that. Even when you have a solid team running, I could see that there could be a lot of perfection to be done with the maps. A lot of knowledge to be gained, and a lot of different tactical approaches to be developed by actual teams when playing this game. So I think there is a lot there to be desired as a player. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot that can be done with that. So I'm not as concerned as I was. However, I still think it's going to be important for there to be a large amount of multiplayer maps for Siege when it does finally launch. And I think that sort of brings us to the close of this. There's probably some small things I left out, but don't worry. I just wanted to kind of get my general thoughts and feedback on what I've played the alpha. Today, it was only day 1. We still have, I think, like another 7 days, another 10 days, something like that. So there's still about a week left for the alpha. I'm going to be playing more of it. I'm sure I'm going to have more things to say about it, and I'll definitely be sure to make some videos on that and throw them up on the channel for you guys to check out. But at the end of it, I came away really happy with what I played in the alpha today. A bit frustrated that I couldn't play with the team. It is an alpha. Like I said, this is actually an alpha. It's not a beta, it's an alpha. We don't even have a final release date for the game yet. So I'm just happy to see them reaching out to the community and getting us involved with the development of this game like Ubisoft has never really done before. That being said, I'm also very much looking forward to seeing announcements from them regarding the single player and hopefully cooperative game modes for Siege. I always loved the co-op and loved the single player in both the Rainbow Six Vegas titles as well as the previous Rainbow Six games, and I want more of it. I want to see it here in Siege. I want that great, sort of Save the World Special Forces storyline for the single player and the co-op. I hope they can make this a complete package. If it's one thing that Splinter Cell has done, it's show that Ubisoft can make games that are well worth the $60 price point. Here's that hoping Siege will definitely prove itself to be the same as well. But a lot more multiplayer testing to do to then. We still have the alpha, and we have the closed beta coming up on all platforms, hopefully in the coming months. If you guys have any questions about what you saw today, if you've been playing the alpha, let me know your thoughts on it. And like I said, if you have any questions about what you saw, go ahead, throw them in the comment section below. I'll do my best to try and answer them and get back to you. And here's to the future of Rainbow. It's good to have it back one way or another. We'll see if the team can deliver, and I'll see you in the next one.